Hello, and welcome back to Owens Bay. We're just going to do a little quick flyover here of the city of New Sunderland, which is the companion satellite city to the main city, Queensport. It also happens to be our starter town. Looks like they're having a bit of a fire down there. So I'm really excited for this episode. I'm going to be playing around with some new decals that I think are going to really highlight the future possibilities for detailing in this game. It's still very early days for modding, and I think moving forward, we're going to see a lot of really cool stuff. Anyway, we're doing a quick flyover here of the area we're going to be working on today. We're going to be detailing up the Railyard and the small industrial area directly behind it. The industrial area, all these industrial areas really are just essentially placeholders for where I want the industry to be. Nothing here is finalized. It all has to be reworked. We're also going to be working on a little subdivision, which will be coming into view here shortly as we turn around. Get a nice view of our newly built paper mill. Okay, right down there, that L section of road. That's where we're going to start. Back to Owens Bay. Right now, we are on the outskirts of the city of New Sunderland. And what we're gonna work on today is essentially we're gonna pick up where we left off last episode. I had just done some landscaping detailing around the river here, and I think it's time to kind of finish off this area between New Sunderland and the river. So we're gonna build up a little subdivision right down here in front of us. We're also going to finally detail in the train yard and rebuild the industrial area around here as well. So let's get started. Okay, so what am I going to do down here? So I want this to be essentially like a little new subdivision. Now this road here, this was for an experiment long since abandoned, so we can get rid of this. Maybe get rid of this road. And let's just take a look at the hillside. Okay, not too bad. We're just gonna do some alterations to the terrain here. Nothing too drastic. Just extend this out a bit more. Like so. Now, obviously we have, if you look at the terrain lines here, we have a pretty steep hill here. This whole area is kind of down in a bit of a bowl. So obviously no houses right on here, but there'll be houses up along the road with kind of a nice view from the hillside. Okay, let's turn our attention now to the Railyard here. So yeah, this is going to take a bit of work. I do have a bunch of new decals here to use on this around here, which I think is going to make this area look really, really nice. But first, what we got to do is we got to do some editing to the actual train station. We cannot have trees in a train station, and or these bushes or these rocks. What else do we need to get rid of here? Probably this fence. And I would love to get rid of the electrical wiring around the building. It's not really suitable for a North American build. I don't really know too many places that actually use this sort of stuff. I was playing around with Road Builder, and I could edit the tracks to get rid of I'll draw a little example here. So I could edit the tracks to get rid of them, but that also gets rid of the shoulder. This actually might not be a bad idea. I don't really like this. Obviously, the tracks do need the shoulder, but at the same time, this extremely hard edge to these tracks is not exactly real. That would require me to delete out all the wiring here, which is a kind of a tedious task. Trying to click on them is frustratingly difficult. They're hard to select, and I'll probably get around to it at some point. I am still waiting for a mod that this will get rid of these completely, because even if I upgrade the railroad tracks to the new track without them, I'll still have them in the Railyard, which is frustrating. Okay, so basically what we're going to do in here is this is just going to be like a really, if we're thinking about this in terms of landscaping, this is going to be a heavily abused area. Lots of just distressed landscapes, lots of junk, lots of garbage. Might try putting in a few more rail lines in here. I'm just going to get right to work on it and see what we come up with. So recently there's been an upload of new decals and surfaces. Unfortunately, it's not available on the mod store, and it's a bit uncertain if it's going to appear on the mod store. The decals were creator who goes by the name of Static Noise. I'll put a link to the GitHub where these are located. What can I say about these? There's a lot of them. And because there's so many of them, it is a little unclear what we're going to be able to do with these. And I mean that in the sense that it's going to take a while to really truly all the possibilities here. It is unfortunate that they're not going to get into the, at least for the time being, as far as I understand, they're not going to get into the mod store, which is unfortunate. But I think if the takeaway here is that this sort of stuff, like a year from now, we're going to be drowning in this sort of stuff. I think it's just, there's so much of it. It's really, I mean, I can't even, yeah, the amount of variety here is truly surprising. It's going to take time to figure it out, how to make it look as good as possible. But I think the thing we have to keep in mind here is in, a year's time, there's going to be like a constant, never-ending flow, torrent of this stuff available for us to customize our cities with. And it's pretty incredible. Now, these do suffer from the same sorts of issues that other decals suffer from. The stacking order can be a bit random. Also, this is I kind of see this more like a sampler pack rather than a complete set, which means there's a little bit of everything. But like, say this one, you see this one I'm plopping down right here. A few more variations of it would be great, just to have some variety to them. But I mean, it's still early days, so yeah, this stuff is just going to be amazing. Now, it does suffer from the sorts of issues you typically will see from decals. Decals do not conform to sloped terrain, so anywhere you have a bit of even the slightest bit of variation to your terrain levels, these aren't going to work, which is unfortunate. But at the same time, I'm sure somebody will eventually figure it out. A solution will be found. To be honest, the problem with it now is an abundance of choice. It's kind of hard to figure out what to use and where to use it, and because as you can see, there is a lot of it, and it's going to take a lot of time to make it look the best it possibly can. But for the time being, I'm just kind of treating this as an experiment. Will this be my best use of these decals in this location? Probably not, but like I said, there's going to be a bit of a learning curve to these things, I think. But the opportunities for people to truly make completely unique looking cities here is huge. And I know I've said in previous videos that I am not a big fan of using decals to detail up my landscapes. I think this has probably changed my mind to some degree on that. I mean, just look at this thing. I mean, compared to the tools I had just a week ago, this is just crazy. Now, if you, so yeah, these are not available on the mod store. You'll have to do a manual install. But to be honest, if you are already using mods and you have the extra asset importer installed, it is simply just pretty much dragging and dropping a folder to get this to work. Now, I will say that two things in the package. There was custom decals, which is what I'm using right now, and there was also some custom surfaces, which for whatever reason did not load properly onto my computer. So your mileage may vary as to what you get here. That said, though, I mean, it's honestly pretty easy to install these. There's no real big mystery to them or anything like that. Okay, I think you get the idea of what's possible here. And what's possible is quite a lot. We're going to be able to detail things up to insane levels in the near future. So I am totally looking forward to that. Okay, there's one final little bit of work to do on the rail yard before we move on to the industrial areas here. So in this particular fictional region I'm building, Cascadia, there's going to be two competing rail lines. And this rail yard is going to be owned by one of them. And this one is going to be the Cascadia Pacific Railroad. And we're just going to put a bit of custom signage on it. I don't know why one showed up on the roof there. That's a bit weird. Okay. Now I wish I could make these larger and put them on actual billboards, but as far as I could tell, there isn't a billboard in game of this dimension. So hopefully in the future that is something else that will be added to the mods that we can do as well. But for the moment, this will suffice, and I do have this custom logo that I can place wherever I want within the city. This is our first custom company for our region. Industrial areas is I want to change the colors of the building to reflect the actual colors in their logo. So I think the main color here is going to be this kind of dark navy blue. Now, is this going to be kind of a hit or miss thing? I can't pull the color directly off the... Okay, I think that's pretty close to the dark color. Now, do I want... I think I just want a whitish color for the... something like that, I think. Okay, let's take a look. Okay, I think that is pretty close. And since I've gone this far with Decals, why stop? Let's just keep going. Now this, I haven't really thought about this too deeply yet, but perhaps the Cascadia Pacific Railroad is, maybe it's, maybe a company that's past its prime. So maybe they're not able to maintain their infrastructure the way they once did. Perhaps this building here is showing a bit more wear and tear. Perhaps, just perhaps, it's like in desperate need of a bit of primer and a coat of paint. Now, these decals are actually my own, and these are available up at the Paradox Mod store. So I will put a link down below if you want to go check them out. Yeah, a little bit of shameless self-promotion there, but to be honest, I think they look pretty good. Okay, let's focus our attention on this little industrial area here. Like I said earlier, this is just industry plopped down to kickstart the city. Obviously not the final version of what it's going to look like. And to be honest, right now we have a surplus of jobs in the city. So we could do a bit of pruning here, thin this out a bit, and maybe focus our attention a bit more. I think for this particular area, a bit of industry in here for sure, but I think this is primarily going to be our two main service buildings. So our park service building and our road service building. And maybe a touch of industry and a few offices. It's going to be a sparse area of town. Also, I've noticed here that we have a couple of abandoned buildings. I think we're going to work with that, and I think we're going to have some, somebody's business dreams came to a tragic end down here too. So let's get started. First, I'm going to delete out all the industry here. I don't want any of this right now. Okay, the next thing I'm going to focus on here are the roads. These roads of sidewalks are probably not suitable, well, not ideal for this area. I mean, who's going to really walk down here, right? Everybody's going to drive down here. So I think what we're going to try to do is we're going to go into the road builder here, and we're going to get rid of the sidewalks and replace them with just a shoulder. Like so. See, okay, this is something I'm not happy with here. You make these roads and then you get these weird shadows. But I did hear, let's see if this is true. I did see a little tip here to deal with this. If we go into options, go into graphics, and I think what I'm looking for is something to do with shadows. Yeah, here's what we're looking for. Terrain cast shadows. I think we want to turn that off and go back, and that is better, although we still have this black edge. So, and it's on both sides, and it's kind of like depending on what angle you're looking at. So the road builder tool is great, but obviously there's some work to be done on it yet. But I think we're just going to work with this because I really don't want the sidewalks down here. Okay, I think that might be enough for the moment. This is something you could spend a lot of time doing, and it's fun to do. It's rather hypnotic to get into it, but at the same time, it's just like I could spend hours detailing up tiny little areas. So obviously, I'll be doing a lot more of this in the future. I think how I'm going to probably tackle this moving forward into the future is it's going to be as I detail up a new area, I'll pick out certain areas to really focus my attention on, and then I will do the rest off camera. This it could be hours and hours of this sort of detailing, and I'm not sure if anybody really wants to sit for that. And I don't think I want to record all that, so I think still feeling this out exactly how to conquer this. But yeah, I mean, this is really nice looking, like for a little more rundown area of town. I quite like this. Now obviously it's not all perfect. I don't have every square inch of this detailed, but we got to remember that for the most part this is about the view. This is the typical view we're going to be getting of this location. We're very seldom ever going to get in super close, and if it is an area where we might get in super close a lot of, like quite often, I'll come back and give it a bit more attention. But for now, I think this is good. I'm very happy. I think it looks quite nice along the river edge here. Obviously I got a little more landscaping detail to do down here. This subdivision I think is looking quite nice on the edge of town. Yeah, overall very happy with this. Okay, that's it for this episode. I have to say, this episode was a lot of fun. These new decals are really, I think, are showing us the possibilities for the future of this game, and I'm really quite excited. I mean, this is a huge jump in graphics compared to what we had a year ago. And the great thing about it is it's only going to get better from here. I mean, 6 months, a year from now, I'm really excited to see what this game is going to look like. Quite enjoying these cinematics here. These look amazing to me. If you've stuck around to the end, thank you for watching. I really do appreciate it. And if you got anything of value out of this video, please feel free to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. See you next time.